Hello and welcome, everyone. Welcome to the 434th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, May 26, 2022. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department and part of the Public Teachings in English. My name is Rick Crammond, and I'll be host today once again in these weekly Knowledge Seekers Workshops. And once again, we are having the honor of being joined by Mr. Mehran Keshe of the Keshe Foundation. And I think he is ready to begin today. Hello, Mr. Keshe.
Yes, good morning, good day to you. As usual, wherever and whenever you listen to the series of knowledge seekers of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute, knowledge seeking lectures and teachings and sharing knowledge. Thank you very much for past 430 odd sessions. And today's teaching is very simple. If you remember a couple of sessions before, we spoke about an amino acid when it takes the shape of 3 dimensions. When it's in the vacuum body of the man, not the way we see it on the surface of the CO2 box, but the way we see it as a cell of the man. Because a 3-dimensional amino acid, which you see on the flat surface of the water, when you put it in a vacuum condition, it becomes your cell. It becomes then with attachment to other minerals and combination of different other things makes your body, makes the physicality of the man. In so many ways, the only part in the body of the man which we do not see as such, but that still exists as an energy field, any amino acid is a bone structure, which is, and that is why it does not decompose, even though it has higher rates of the calcium or other minerals, it still contains some what we call amino acid in its structure. But when we travel the depth of the space, because the first unit of the what we call enhancement unit for flight without dimension has taken shape. I was with it a couple of days ago, and it has a twin because all the flight systems, if you remember, with the Iranian flight system, needs to be 2 of the people in the lab are putting it together, and it will be manifested in next week as an entity, as a living thing, because once we switch on the reactors, huge number of them, they have their own, we designed it that way to have their own soul, their own interaction, their own heartbeat, their own everything else. Now collectively they create a unified soul. That in interaction with the emotion of the captain or the passenger will decide the condition, the composition, and the strength of the field of the positioning. What we call without dimension or physical structure, space reactors are extremely well in design. And the way it's been designed now is that we can adjust it. We can adjust the shape slightly to get the maximum, what we call field strength, the maximum positioning. They are made flexible that we can change it slightly to find what we call optimum position of flight, the optimum position of interaction of the fields with the man, and so forth. In this process, once we interact with the system and we can match the system, then we have to understand the structure of the field transportation and transmutation. Would it be that we, as what we call amino acid in a 3-dimension, in creating a field within the system that matches Mars, we'll see embodiment of the man to take shape as it will survive the condition of Mars. We know this very well. We know this condition. It happens to us in the womb of the mother. We take the condition of what is the womb, and we shape ourselves from the egg and sperm into shape of a man, and we stay alive in there, and we grow, and we change to fit the environment we are coming out to. So the new system, where is tested, I've been told we are a week ahead of testing. And as we said, by the 6th of June, we go for a test of the system. Then we have to see what is our position. What is the residual work that we need to do? What will happen to this structure of the amino acid of the man? Because in the body of the man, this amino acid, even we feel it as a muscle, as a tissue, as a blood, and the new condition will take a new shape. We travel to Mars, we travel to another position in the universe. We don't wear the spacesuit because we can create a condition of the transformation or transmutation of the energy into the condition and position where he arrives. The new, what we call enhancement unit for flight without the boundary, are much more advanced than the one enhancement unit we have in the lab. You've seen it, the body enhancement unit or the flight units, they are restricted. They are confined to where we put the reactors, permanent. The new advanced, much more advanced system in the new flight system, which is getting tested, does not have that limitation. We can change things inside. We can change this dimension inside. The rigidity has gone out of the game. With the enhancement unit is rigid. You see it, it's the white thing. With the new, more advanced, the next stage, maybe a couple of stages further than what we have seen, now we don't have those limitations. The actors are with a condition of the what we call dynamic fields, which in combination can do everything possible to interact with the environment, to react in respect to each other. The two systems are set next to each other in a way that we look for a dimension of the interaction of the cell of the man. What does that mean? It means, let's say, in a dimension you choose, as you do in your dream, you go to Mars, you go to another position in the universe that many of you dream up to now. You wake up and says, oh, I've been in such a strange place. Now you take yourself to that strange place. How does your amino acid interact with the environment? What would happen to this interaction of the fields of the environment we have created within the enhancement unit and the amino acid of, let's say, the brain of the man, the toe of the man, the heart of the man? Or, as they all have a common denominator, they all change together, which is this has how it will happen. Then we can see within this embodiment the change of the physicality of the man within the flight system. We can, with the possibility, a high probability, that we'll see evolution in respect to the growth, the strength of the fields, which is introduced by the system by itself through introduction of the different fields which are set in the reactors. The beauty with the new advanced system is that we don't have this white, rigid, hard body that absorbs fields. It becomes a filter for what can be coming in. This is the problem, that many spaceships you see cannot go to the next step. Because when you build that body, when you build that craft, then you're limited, you're filtered by what can pass through the embodiment. It's like the skin of the man. It rains outside, but nothing happens inside. The blood flows. You created that skin. We created this, what we call the enhancement unit, with the limitation of what we call the field. It has a CH combination because it's made of polymers. It has other materials. All these now become a filter. Energies above it can cross. With a new non-dimensional enhancement unit, we don't have this problem. We are part of the environment. We don't need to adjust to. We are part of to be adjusted with. And in that process, we see evolution in science. Evolution in creation of the fields, which they decide by us presetting it, what condition we create. Go back to the teachings of many years ago. I said that you can go into a shop. It's in the patterns if you read it. You can go into a building and get fed. You can go into the building and reach to the position of the elevation of the science in whatever you want to be. There is no limitation with the introduction of the new space reactors. At the same time, if the space reactor decides to create a condition of the flight for itself, will take the flight. It's been said to do so. Which means if you go in, you don't want any food, but the predetermined destination is set with you to land in New York, you will land in New York. But there's two conditions, in the condition of the soul or in the condition of the craft. But you will not be there in a condition that whatever position you land in will be any different in emotion inside you. You still feel the cold if it's cold. You still have all the dimensions of the feelings, but now you have to accept the new dimension of physicality. When you land on Mars, you still carry a combination of amino acid structures that it fits into that condition. To us, in the present science, amino acid means protein, amino acid means the structure of physicality we see today. Amino acid in the universal language is a building block. Here we have hydrogen and carbon. There is no carbon or hydrogen enough on Mars to create a condition that amino acid can stay the same. But the strength fields within the carbon will find a matching strength for the environment to keep the building block of the space and time where you land. If you understand this, we understand that we can even land in planetary systems, in the structures which are made of acids, because we evolve to accept the condition. We evolve to be able to survive, to hold on to the building block of life the way it was set. We see this. This is not anymore thinking to think cannot be done. We've seen in the depth of the oceans where there are small volcanic positions with a high temperature and high acidity, shrimps live. And they thrive. And it's their habitat, where if we go, we die. First of all, the depth and the pressure. Secondly, the acidity. But if you understand that we can use the condition which the enhancement systems, the new enhancement system, sets the condition of the amino acid of the man, when you arrive at a point and destination, you fit the environment because the field swing of the plasma of the block has been moved to match the environment, to match the inertia. The new enhancement systems, which now go on the test in the next few days, will be an evolution in the world of science, where we have, as I said, no physicality, no restriction of the what we call dimensions as preset. We now become without filter, we come without containment, without any direction in what cannot be or what could be restricted. Now we can take a flight. Now we can change and see the condition of point of arrival within these new systems because we keep within the atmosphere of this planet, but now we create a new condition to absorb the fields from the universe. The beauty with the new reactors, the beauty with the development of the new cycle is that the system, every reactor is in communication, in line, it receives and gives from all fields of the universe in respect to what is preset to. And presetting is very simple. To preset the life of the man, we know what it depends on. We preset that condition. We know what man will take to survive. It does not mean that on planets such as such a place in the universe, you need oxygen. You evolve that oxygen to what that element would be in the gravitational field to hold on to the building block. Most probably firogen does not exist, but due to the plasmatic condition of the fields of the system, the field strength from nitrogen finds the matching building block, the strength to be the supplier. This is how you will change. We will see, and amongst the knowledge to understand, we will understand that in the human body, we have the Cohen, which is a carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen. But in other dimensions, in other structure of existence, the 4 is not enough. You have 6 elements, where 2 of them interacting with each other creates the field of the gravity, as the oxygen does in this planet. You find that you need maybe 8 combinations of different fields, plasma, what we call gases of energy, plasmas of the energy, to build that block. Because one is not, first of all, maybe strong enough, or one cannot find the matching fields. So the interaction of the 2 will bring condition of the building block. So we should see, and we should understand, that the structure of the amino acid and the buildings of the blocks of the man will come out of the structure of the development and understanding of the new systems. Even with the new systems which are getting developed, we are more or less limited to 6, maybe 12 maximum combination of building blocks, which means we create a plasmatic condition within the plasma of the, what we call amino acid, to be able to control the amino acid to become the building block for itself. We see this in so many ways with a structure of many animals, especially those who can retract their body or can change color. But we never understood this and how rapidly they can do it. Today, scientists explain to us in a chemistry way or another way how this animal changes color, but how fast it does it, how exact and precise it does it, how does it match to be the environment. Then we understand there is more that we have not understood, and we thought we have achieved the level of understanding of the totality of the physical and chemical combination of life. In the new enhancement unit, without dimension, as we explained last week, and now it's literally built, we have to understand what will lead, what will create, what will be the thoughts. We can introduce plasmas into the environment and watch a new life to grow. Watch a new combination of interaction of the fields leads to generation of the new cycles which we never knew, and is the creation of man. Which means we have the capability to generate, to create conditions, and at the same time building blocks of creatures, structures, which we never knew and never existed. We are the creator. This is what this will give us, the opportunity to create conditions that even on this planet, by creating such a position, by creating such a technology, we can feed the man without the man ever killing. We can create condition of a collective amino acids which can feed every cell of the man and every race of the animal, the tree, or whatever. This will bring a new evolution in the world of science. With these new structures, we create a condition that we do not need, in a way, to structure ourselves, limit ourselves to alloys, to metals, or to anything else. Because now we decide, we'll create new metals, we create new materials that has not been seen. And with it, we preset the condition for new standards, new lives. These things will take the next 10, 20 years to become part of us. Because once we show, we'll see the others will add to it. They don't copy it, but they take part of it, they add another part of it, and then we see a new evolution. We've seen it with many things which Keshe Foundation has done over the past years. We see knowledge taken and added. So in so many directions, the space flight, which is going to be tested, we are a week early, as I said, hopefully by Monday, Tuesday, our team will put it into test. We will see evolution in the world of science. Crafts without limitation. Very much, if you've seen, we can bring the heart of the man out of the body of the man and it still survives, it still works. We can bring the brain of the man out of the body of the man, creating the condition for it, it still can interact and it still can live. In many ways, as we've seen, many people, some scientists' brain has been kept in isolation when they died, that maybe in the future it can be used. Now we can create that condition that it can be done. We've seen with the head of Lenin in Russia. Would we be able to create a condition as the amino acid with the cells are still there to create life structure out of it and see how the new life will develop? Now, the limitation is how we decide to expand the knowledge. There should be no restriction on how ethical committees brings the limitation into understanding, because it's according to those who set the ethic, but not where the knowledge is. Ethic has to come from us in what is logical and what can be done. And in this process, with the new enhancement units, which you will most probably, as is the habit of the Keshe Foundation, will see, you will not see any reactor structure you ever seen before. These are kept away from public. And even the structure of the new space reactors are kept away from public because public is not ready to understand the gravity and the potential of the new technology. You've seen the dynamic reactors. How many of you copied? But have you achieved anything with it? Did you manage to go to the next step? Now, with the next steps, what we call, in a way, non-dimensional enhancement units, we take the technology to a new era, take the technology to the next step, and see how the world of science and how the knowledge seekers will add to it. How can you set a condition where you have no dynamic structure as you are used to in the reactors or in the solar systems, but we have that within us. The cell of the body of the man works in that environment. The cell of the body of man works from interaction of the fields of the plasma, which themselves are dynamic. You do not need the limitation of the dynamic of a ball. The new science, which we open up from next week, is another stage, another breakthrough in the world of science. But how long would it take you as knowledge seekers and the world of science to understand it's a different dimension? As we've seen, we introduced the MATLAB years ago, we're still playing with it. The new enhancement flight system is there to feed you, is there to take the energy from you what you don't need, and in a way to add to what you need and create a new condition of life. Mankind has entered an evolution and a revolution in the science of creation. We don't see any what are called caging of the sun. We don't see any caging on the galaxies, which in a way are a bigger sun collectively with particles inside, which are called solar systems and the planetary system within it. Now we have reached the next step to this. Very soon it will be advanced more that even you don't need what we have built. You will create the star, free star positions, which they themselves will create the condition of what we call evolution of the soul. When you see a UFO, when you see a flying object, it means the knowledge is restricted to the knowledge of the matter state, because you have to have a matter to contain it. When you see the new generation of the what we call space reactors, there is no matter limitation. You are open to the totality fields of the universe. The way you will react to it, the way we react, we change the color of the eye, we change the color of the skin, we change our height according to where we live and how we have evolved to survive the environment. It would not be any different if, according to the present knowledge, man, all what they call descendants from the Africa, Central Africa, and becoming a black, maybe short, becoming in all sorts of shapes of forms, traveling to new conditions, has become blue, has become blonde, has become Chinese, has become yellow, has become short, has become tall. In a way, the environment and the emotion of existing in that environment has created a new body for us, even though we all come from the same source. This is how we will be in the new systems. Now, we'll come from the same source, but we will change, we will evolve in a way to fit the plasmatic condition of the universe at the point of what we call arrival, manifestation. The new flight enhancement system, which are about to be launched, are totally a different ball game. They are totally separate game from what the Keshe Foundation has taught up to now. Is an extension to understanding a combination of the works of the what we call all the teachings from the beginning. Everything which we have thought, all of us have worked on, now has been brought in to create these what we call marvels of the science. This what we call changes in the game of what we call travel, transmutation, even education. If we understand this process, it will be no problem for us to learn the language with all its emotions, not just what is in the dictionary, what it means. When we speak French in this transmutation, we understand the essence, the emotion of the word, not just what it means in the dictionary. As I said many times, many people speak English, but they don't understand the essence of it because it's what's in the dictionary, what is translated to. But when an Englishman speaks in English, it has emotion, connection to the word. It has different meaning, it has different dimensions for it, which to the others does not, because he has evolved, he has matured the language in his embodiment. Mankind soon will reach the position of what we call the ultimate goal, to be able to travel the spans of the universe. There is no limitation. in where and how we could, is that what we call, if you remember, many times are called about the fish tank. Now the fish is the soul of the man and the tank is the field. What do you want to create in it? You wish to be seen in the environment as a black or white. You wish to be seen as intelligent and speak as many languages. All is the possibility. Now the door of the knowledge and the science to do it is there. We understand it. We have to understand, and the next steps of the what we call space reactors will carry emotion, which means we just don't create the condition of the plasma, but we create the condition that that plasma has created as an emotion field interaction. We can create the emotion of happiness, not with electronics or trying to tickle, but creating the field strength that, to me, is happiness. We will expand these technologies, new systems, new technologies in a coming time. But we have to understand step by step where the new science will take us. Perhaps with no limitation in the energy field transformation, transmutation, and in being able to create new building blocks that never age. Building blocks that guarantees life in a dimension of existence of the fields of the plasma of the body of man for decades and centuries, where man does not need to eat, where man survives through interaction of the combination of the fields which are embedded within the water or within the body or within the salt of the body of the man. We've seen this. Now we have to develop the next step. We saw in the past knowledge seekers making gas waters to drink as the food. We've seen that in China, especially in South China. Many knowledge seekers have gone to that limit. We've seen many of the people who are supposed to be doing miracles can go without food. Now we can create that condition. We can create that position. We can create an environment that all fields, all the energies, like the lymph of the man, is available to everyone, to every cell of the body of the man, and it depends on the cell in what energy wants to take from the lymph to be able to survive. We create that condition, that transmutation of the fields and plasmas. Mankind has reached an evolution in the science. And for the first time, you will see it in a very primitive way, because the next step for us is to create what we call condition of plasmas, which does not need confinement. The reactors will be the plasma themselves, alive for themselves, but in collection and what we call combination with other reactors, create the condition of life for the time, the position, and the strength which is needed for the building block to exist, to survive, to interact, to have emotion, and to be able to expand further. The world of science has come to a major conjunction where we move away, totally away from physicality, but into the dimension of the fields, into the dimension of understanding the interaction of the field. How we will interact, we shall see. When the new reactors, the new enhancement units are locked into position to work, we watch. We see, first of all, how do the two interact with each other? Because it says you need two to tango. You have two of the same to be able to see what interaction you create. You've seen that in when we created 129 magnetic field strength. You've seen that in other tests done by the Keshe Foundation. The flight system is always in two. Now We have brought these two into the flight system and the soul of the man in the same combination, in the same environment, that the two decide the condition and the position, and the other, what we call structures, decide in matter state of what we call the inertial conformation, which means the inertial state of the new systems in conjunction with the emotion which is created by man and the flight system now will create the new man. Will create the new dimension. Will create the new understanding. Keshe Foundation has made a specific ganses to see this condition without involving the mankind or any other animal in testing, which means we work outside the frame of the present knowledge. We understood this years ago. If you go back to what was in Barletta, we start building the first structures, making the copy of the brain of the man. One of the knowledge seekers was given this job, starting from simple interaction and then gradually building the structure of the brain in a box, in an IKEA box. In a simple way, we can now understand this structure. Now, we don't need to build a structure, but we build the fields of the structure, which allows us to work with the dimension, physicality, and the soul of the man. The understanding of the new space technology is not anymore building dynamic reactors. It's not anymore being there and whatever else we make. We need to understand that the process of what we call interaction of the fields comes from within the structure, not from the outside. In a way, it's the soul of the man which controls the physicality. Now, the same has been built as the new flight system, where what we call a structure of the man will dictate by itself, through its soul, through the environment of the field of the reactors, what and how it will look, it will change, how it will attain a new dimension. In the coming time, many of us will come to understand the new technology in a very rapid way, but we have to be prepared for the changes which has come and the changes which will come. In a future teachings and sharing knowledge, we'll explain to you how your cell will change, how you will see the changes in the dimension of the building blocks of the man when you enter new dimensions. In so many ways, you will see the shape of the man evolving to the strength of the fields of the environment. And now we have the capability to carry out these tests. We have the capability to be able not just to fly to the moon, but to fly in any position in the universe. 6th of June, man will be freed from the shackle of the physicality, or maybe next week. When we start testing, we see the outcome. It's not just going to the moon and beyond. It's how we can free the man in the span of the universe. The systems are so advanced, but still primitive, that will bring many of us to rethink about the science, technology, and the knowledge which we have up to now. How would we evolve? What would be the evolution in the dimension of the knowledge? Would we change And would we see the change? And how many of us are prepared for that change? Would we do what we did with a man who first said the earth is not the center of the universe? Or we understand it and expand the knowledge to become the true, what we call livers of the universe, become the members of the universal community which lives within dimensional fields without a matter state or conformation of the existence. Maybe man will understand the emotion of love in the essence of the fields, not in the dimension of the physicality and the beauty. Maybe then we understand the love of the Creator, what it means. As I said before, mankind has not understood about the totality of the emotions which exist in the universe. There's not any more laughter or cry. There's not any more joy or sadness. There are many, many emotions which the man will feel with the new structures and the new, what we call, tasting and testing, feel the strength. The new enhancement units without formation will bring us the first step in freeing man from the shackles of the physicality. But would it bring man to understand the totality of the creation, the knowledge of the creation, to understand to what level mankind will react to this? Mankind will go to understand this, and to what level we can do. We are here to bring the next step. We are here to bring the change. We are here to bring the understanding of the totality. We set the scene for the change, and we are here to bring the change and to see that the change comes in a what we call understanding, being able to go through the transition and to be able to see how mankind will take shape in the new space in what we call knowledge of the creation. I opened a lot of new ways to think in the past few weeks teaching, and we are not looking to look for a system to be built to be able to do. We are looking for the knowledge to be understood, to be seen, to do. And then we take everything to the next step, everything to the next stage, and everything to the position that mankind can resolve the present condition of what he lives with the limitation of physicality. And then it comes, would we be able to travel the span of the universe with a dimension of physicalities, with UFOs, or in a plasma energy system? And in that process, we go to the next step. And in that process, we go to the stage to see where the expansion of the knowledge will take mankind. Thank you very much for today. I hope I opened your eye into what is to come. And we hope that we can bring you the structure of the new, what we call no engagement casing of the space reactors for flight and for elevation of the, what we call dimension of the plasmas of the physicality of the man and maybe the soul of man. Try to understand what is to come. Try to understand what is to be done, and try to understand that humanity needs the totality to be able to go to the next step, and not just for the man, but for the totality of the soul of this planet in every shape or form. Thank you very much. Rick. We go to break and we'll see what comes up after the break time.